Welcome to our Better Call Saul extravaganza.
It's a double dip of Saul.
We didn't have time last week to review episode 5, Alpine Skinny Boy. Wait, what was it called?
That sounds pretty funny, though.
The titles changed a lot.
Alpine Shepherd Boy.
Ah.
So tonight we're going to watch the next episode as well.
Episode 6.
But before that, there's going to be a twofer. This could go on for like 3 hours.
Ooh.
We're going to hit every topic in Breaking Bad. We're going to discuss every nuance of Mike's performance.
Oh.
Who?
And
What?
what's up with Walt Jr.?
Where'd he go?
Go.
So The Walking Dead was really something to watch. It's a show.
It was really bad.
It was an awful episode. No. Last week's Better Call Saul.
Alpine Fat Man.
What a great episode that was.
Awesome.
It takes off right where the previous one left off. Michael McKean's character, Chuck, is just inside, wrapped in a space blanket.
After a massive electromagnetic hypersensitivity attack.
Yeah, he got a big dose there, stealing the neighbor's paper. Well, he didn't steal. He put the $5 down under the rock.
He explains it to the
But
two
then
officers.
the cops come up. Then they're knocking on the door. And he starts giving this whole hilarious lawyer or law professor lecture. Meanwhile, the one cop goes around the other side of the house, and he's looking in through the window as Michael McKean's talking about probable cause and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he sees...
That was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Reciting
Yeah, he's like, all right,
law
fine.
text.
And he starts looking in the windows, and then he sees all the camp light oil and
the
all
oil
that
cans.
stuff.
He sees how the what's it called?
The panels for like the PSE&G or whatever service
called?
you use. The power source panels? Is that it? Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just pay the bill and don't ask questions.
Electrical conduits and electrical boxes. That's what I'm getting. Sees that it's all cut up with wires. It's dark. This guy's weird. Looks like a mental case.
He's rambling on and on about the law at the door.
Yeah.
Obviously a drug addict.
Like he broke into like a abandoned house or some shit.
Yeah. Something's not right here. That's the picture it paints. And I can't blame the officer for thinking that. And then so they basically are like, look, are you going to open the door or are we going to break it down? And then they arrest him. And, what happens is what's
tasers.
fucked up is, it was fucked up because he's like explaining that he has a condition. He's like, just don't, but then he sounds so suspicious as
And also
he's
they're
explaining
shining the flashlight
this.
in. That's
Yeah.
why he's like hiding.
And they have he's like, just no tasers, please. And so it makes it sound like they're going to set something off.
Right.
And then he ends up in the hospital.
Possibly the worst thing you could do to this guy is taser him.
Yeah, seriously.
The number one thing.
Seriously. Oh my God. Yeah, that was intense. I felt so horrible for him.
Next scene, I believe, is Saul. He's meeting with a very rich guy.
Is that the next one? Oh, yeah, because he's gotten all the consultations.
Ricky Sipes is his name.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
He's hilarious.
Oh my God.
This guy has a big plan. He's going to give him $1 million if he can get
Put
him
him on
seceded from the United States.
Oh yeah, he's gonna put him on return,
Yeah.
right? Because Saul's like, okay, I see where
like,
this is
whatever,
going.
as long
well,
as
this
it's
is
work.
gonna take years, possibly. Lots of, and a big investment on your part, time and money. And the other guy's like, oh, I'll put you on a retainer. How about $1 million? $1 million. No, hourly, $1 million on retainer. He's like, so I was like, oh, all right. And I knew it was gonna come out where I was like, this money's gonna be no good. But he comes out.
I thought it was legit.
Really?
I thought it was legit too.
Did you? I was like, oh, this is going to be like this guy's like happy fun bucks money from his own country already.
No,
and then that's basically what happens. But
You predicted it?
in my mind, I thought this money's useless because I was like, this is too good to be true.
Yeah, I
This
thought
is
he
too
was
good
going
to
to
be
get the
true.
money and he was going to have for a while, but then something horrible was going to happen.
Oh, no, I was like, this is useless. But I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be like Monopoly money, like so obviously fake. So it tricked me then for half a second because I was like, I saw all the bills and I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, oh, that can't be. It can't be real. And then you see this guy's face on it and on the hundreds. It's like an exact replica.
Like, how much did it cost for him to print all that?
people in like these kind of states of mind, like
Yeah.
look at Michael McKean too, like the
guy
lengths
is-
that Chuck goes to, and the lengths of this guy, they're not thinking
insane.
of it like that. It's it's.
But look at this
It
guy.
all
He
makes
has all
sense
the
to them.
taxidermy.
He's got
the
his
big
shot of
game.
him killing
He's
a
got,
rhino.
original paintings. I think that's him up there with a rhino.
Yeah,
He's an Ernest
Rhino.
Hemingway wannabe. It's hilarious.
After this is I think the funniest thing so far in Better Call Saul. He meets with this inventor who's invented.
Holy shit.
Let's fast forward a little bit because I want to remember.
That guy, too, the guy who he meets with who invents this special invention that Oxnard is going to talk about, he played a very creepy, funny character in the show Veep. I don't know if you ever saw that on HBO.
With Elaine Bennis?
Yeah, with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. He plays basically like a Facebook or like a Silicon Valley CEO type. So he's like a Zuckerberg type, and he's very strange. Oh,
You know what's the
that
one
guy's
thing I
hilarious.
noticed? Is that when he gives him the money, the band that's holding the bills together is covering his face.
Yeah.
So thank God he moved that little thing over to look at it.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if that's fooled people before. No, probably not.
Why, you going to try and pull that one over?
Yes.
Hey, here, Dexter. Here's $500
For what?
wrapped up in a nice. Wow, that's damn decent of you, Oxnard. Thank you so much. And then it's just a picture of you
My
flipping me off.
ass.
Yeah, it's your dick.
President Dick. Dick Cocker.
Cock 'em up yo ass.
This guy's obsessed that Fisher Price is going to get their hands on this
He has to
toilet.
sign the disclaimer that he won't
Right.
talk about it.
Confidentiality
And it's a special invention to help toddlers and kids potty train.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, you're big. You're so big. Fill me up, Chandler. Put it in me.
Fill me up, Chandler. Put it in me.
So,
First of all, the kid's name is Chandler.
I want it.
I want it all. Ah.
what's creepy is he already has 2 boys.
And they love it.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Oh, man. So, Saul is going from
Sal.
different... He's trying to find work, and finally I think he gets lucky with a little old lady
Right.
obsessed with...
Well, I guess lucky. I'm not sure that's the right word. It's
well, she
hilarious.
pays him in full.
Right.
Like, because...
Not
Like
much.
$170 or
Right.
something.
yeah, but she liked him or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can imagine how many things she was searching for in this house. He's
been there for hours.
Yes.
There was an article...
It's like comically slow
right.
how
Yes.
she
Yeah.
moves, you
It's
know.
ridiculous.
I don't know if I sent you the article, but there was a guy wrote an article about how important this scene was, how why like she was going so slowly down the thing, and how the show takes its time, but it's like perfectly paced,
Yeah.
unlike other shows
I'm like
on AMC.
fucking Walking Dead.
Wait, what?
Huh?
And
Yeah, that's a good point.
It just shows how excellent the writing is.
I like how he remembered
It's
the details
unbelievable.
to her ridiculous will.
Yeah, oh yeah,
correct
it's
her.
like, oh no, they're getting this, figurine. Yeah, I mean, especially too because we've been talking about The Walking Dead and specifically how like horribly paced it is and how like dragged out the whole thing is, and I think it's like pointed out all the clearer because I've been watching Better Call Saul at the same time. So the next day I'm watching the show and the writing is like it's so clear how much of a difference there is in like the class of writing. It's nuts.
Wow, Better Call Saul on Rotten Tomatoes, 100%.
Yeah.
They visit Chuck in the hospital.
Yeah, well, Saul is hanging out with that resting bitch face girl that you don't
Yes.
like, and they're at the nail salon.
I
He's
do-
giving her a foot massage.
first
He's
I didn't
painting
like
her
it.
nails. He's
Right.
painting her nails, and it's so funny because I've been rewatching Breaking Bad because my wife is really
So
into
have
it
I,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, and I see all the Saul scenes. It's like amazing.
Yeah, how he's like-
comparing it to this show.
They want to get by the car wash, and he says, no, nail salon.
Yeah, and he's in the nail salon, and he's trying to convince Jesse to buy it first.
Yeah.
And then he's, like, getting massaged by... It's hilarious. Like, and I wonder if it's, like, this... I was like, is this the same one that he was in? But I don't think it was in the show. But there's also, like,
No,
references...
it might be.
They're going to have to do a lot of stuff, because he makes references to... I heard an interview with Peter Gould, where he was talking about how it's like a fun challenge, but it's a big challenge for them because they have things that they would write in Breaking Bad where he's like, oh, I had an ex-wife that does this or whatever, blah, blah, and he tells these things, and it's like, well, now they have to try and
Yeah, he says, like, hey,
work with that.
Don't worry about the divorce, Walter. My ex-wife slept with my stepfather or something like that.
Yeah. No, either that's totally bullshit, but he mentions it, Peter Gould, is specifically in the interview, like, that's
really?
a challenge now that they have to, things like that they have to work with, because it was a question about, do they go back and watch old episodes, to get an idea of, like, things to put into Better Call Saul now, and they said that they actually had, basically a reel which was several hours of just Saul scenes.
All the Saul scenes.
Yeah. And it's like, Peter Gould and like 6 writers and like Vince Gilligan and everybody, and they're just, and they've all seen the show obviously, but they'll go to look at things and they just come up, and the whole thing started because Saul Goodman, the character itself, just kind of grabbed onto them, and they would keep coming up with all these great ideas, and as a joke they'd be like, oh, we'll put it in the Saul show. That'll be for the Better Call Saul show. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of, because he just took a life of his own, and then they did not plan on it originally.
I'm watching all the extras from the DVDs for Breaking Bad, and Vince Gilligan. There's a part there about the Saul character, and he says, Vince Gilligan says, it's like, I always wanted. He has like a way of talking. Like this. He says, I was a huge fan of Mr. Show, so I knew I wanted Bob Odenkirk there.
That's awesome.
And he was saying how like he felt like everyone else. He felt like Bob Odenkirk was the only one who felt like he didn't deserve the part. So he was always extremely serious.
Yeah.
Like they show behind the scenes like Bryan Cranston, Dean Norris. Like they're all like goofing around.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Like Bob Odenkirk's like just very serious. He would like sit by himself, making sure he's like in the zone.
Yeah. No, I've heard him talk about that too. How seriously he took it in interviews. Like he didn't go really off script at all.
Yeah.
He really was like he took it so seriously because he understood what was going on too with the kind of phenomenon that Breaking Bad had become, and so he wanted to. He didn't want to come. I think he didn't want to embarrass himself too. Like come in and be like, "Here's the jokey joke man," and like, he is kind of like not taken seriously. I think on the set, and then also the audience, they understand what the character is, but then they also understand what he's doing. I think that was important to him.
The other thing I found interesting is that the first season of Breaking Bad had pretty low ratings. It wasn't until at the end of the season it won an award or some Emmy or something.
Oh, really?
And then everyone was like, huh, what's this? And that's when it exploded.
And then Bryan Cranston's winning like 4 Emmys in a row.
Yeah.
And
man, I gotta give you that stuff, man, because you see Bryan Cranston when he's like directing certain episodes, and like, he's like, man,
That's
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, Tim Watley.
Anti-dentite. So Chuck's in the hospital. He was tased, and there's lights everywhere. He's like comatose nearly, and so they rush in there, and Saul starts taking down all the lights. He's turning off all the equipment, and the nurse is trying to stop him, or doctor, and he's like, no, you don't understand. So basically, she kind of insinuates like, hey, maybe, put this guy in a mental hospital.
Right, well, because they're basically saying like, no, this is an actual thing. Chuck's not crazy.
Right.
He actually has... What essentially he boils down to, like the dumbed down version of it, is like an allergy to electromagnetic radiation.
Yeah, they
but
call
like it actually affects him. They say
electromagnetic hypersensitivity.
Yeah, so that's what he's saying is actually going on. That it's not a mental illness. This is an actual thing. And then the doctor, in an effort to show Saul, that prove her hypothesis. She distracts Chuck with questions. She's asking him, and then she secretly flips on the hospital bed back on, and Chuck doesn't even notice or feel it. Now, how could that be? He's laying on it. You know what I mean? So it proves that it's a psychosomatic illness.
Yeah, it says here on the Wikipedia, electromagnetic hypersensitivity is not currently an accepted diagnosis.
The other thing that doesn't make sense is, like, there's electricity still flowing through the walls, whether or not you put something in an outlet or turn it on.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Right.
It's like fear of spiders.
I have it.
Oh, God. My eyes!
I just realized I have this illness! So anyway, then they're like, they're saying, you really should think about committing him, But Saul's like, no, I'm not doing that.
He doesn't want to
taking him home.
because the ploy is if he's committed, he becomes his legal guardian or his legal something or other, and it's going to mess up trying to get him money from
Well,
Howard.
no, actually, it's the other way
No, it's the
around.
opposite. It
It's
helps
the other
him.
way
Yeah,
around. So
explain it
he's
to
like,
me.
no, I just want to take my brother home, where he'll be safe. But then when he sees, what's the guy's name?
Howard.
Howard.
Yeah.
And when he sees Howard come in, he's like, oh no, guess what? Oh, you don't give a shit. You're only here because your cash cow
Right.
is here. You know, and if I take him home. You know what I mean? Then that's all good for you.
Yeah.
So he says,
exactly
so I'm
right.
going to guess what? I'm committing him. You know what I mean? And then they can claim all the money
Yeah, then
because
he
he's been
becomes
trying to
the
get all
legal
this
guardian,
money
and he
for
gets-
Chuck. Yeah,
yeah.
and he gets to claim the money. And then he walks away, and then the girl is like, "Oh, hold on, don't just do this, for that reason. Think about what's supposed to be right." And Saul basically says, like, "Don't worry, I just wanted to ruffle his feathers, because he's an asshole. So make him sweat it out a little bit.
Howard's
but I'm
my
taking
favorite
him home.
character. Makes a lot of sense. No.
I believe it. One asshole loves another asshole. That's what Grandma always told me.
Two assholes touch. Look out.
You have to get married. That's what she said.
Man,
That's how
that's
her
hard-
and
that's
Grandpa
hard for
fell in
two
love.
assholes to touch, because the cheeks are in the way.
Well, that's why they had to get married. Not if you have flat butts.
I guess.
The Dexter family butts are flat.
Oh, okay. Jimmy would become his legal guardian and thus have the authority to request and receive Chuck's severance payment from the Hamlin's firm. Although he threatens to have Chuck committed just to scare Hamlin, he still ultimately... Okay, I see.
Yes. He actually... So he makes the morally proper decision in this instance.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he lives... Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not
Helping
He's
criminals.
not totally the Saul of Breaking Bad yet.
Not
That's what
yet.
the show is about.
exactly.
Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman.
What happens after this?
I can't remember what happens
Hold
with
on.
Chuck and them, but the Mike stuff gets very interesting.
Yeah, let me just... I'm going to cut this out. I'll just read it as a refresher memory.
Okay,
At
yeah.
Chuck's house, the two brothers discuss Jimmy's recent exploits, and Chuck encourages him to pursue elder law. After mimicking Andy Griffith's appearance in Matlock, Jimmy promotes his new specialization
Yes.
at a nursing home
That
by
was
printing a slogan
hilarious.
on the bottom of
That's
the
right.
Jell-O containers.
That was
Need a
hilarious.
will? Call McGill. Exiting the parking lot, Jimmy gives Mike his business card that he has the same slogan printed on it. After his shift, Mike parks outside a woman's house. She comes out and gets in her
Right.
car,
That I remember.
stares at Mike uncomfortably, and they both drive away.
Yeah.
At his home, Mike is visited by several police officers. He tells the detective, "Long way from home, aren't you?" To which the detective replies, "You and me both."
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. I remember the Mike stuff, but yeah, I forgot. So yeah, so then Saul. So Chuck had seen the paper, obviously,
Right.
of what Saul did, and Saul had been talking to what's her name, his ex-girlfriend or the girl that he's kind of involved with.
Tina.
It's a good guess. I would buy that actually.
Kim Wexler.
Okay, so he's talking to Kim, and she's basically saying, like, you should pursue elder law, because he's telling the story about how he had to deal with this old lady.
Thought about elder law too.
Yeah, because it's simpler.
Because they like it.
Yeah,
They got the cash.
like it's slow and dry.
Fun with
Fun with wrinkles. Lube the wrinkles.
Ew.
Oh, that was too far? I said slow and dry before.
Got a rug burn on your dick.
Yeah, start a fire down there. A lot of friction.
Keep going.
Okay.
None of this is making it in.
Nope. So he's saying to Chuck, look, I understand how this looks, but I needed the publicity. You know what I mean? I'm not turning into Slip and Jimmy again. I promise all this stuff. And he's thinking about going into elder law, which then Chuck encourages. And you think, okay, he's got this plan. And also, it goes to the point of like that it is totally a mental illness for Chuck, because he had this episode after he thought Jimmy was up to no good. And then when he assured him and they kind of cleared the air about everything, all of a sudden Chuck's like throwing the blanket off and he's getting up and he's walking around. He feels so much better.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that makes the point there. And then And then you see, that was hilarious when you see Saul's watching TV. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then he's watching TV and he's watching Matlock and taking notes. And then I was like, holy shit. Then it hit me. Right. And then, oh my God. And then he shows up in the nursing home with the same fucking suit on. And all the people have the Jell-O cups.
Yeah, it's funny because it looks like he's taking actual lawyering notes, but he's just writing what he's wearing.
That's what I honestly thought. I was is he like studying or something?
Like the writing of Matlock.
Yeah.
What is this show?
I know. Oh my God. And then now all the old people are eating, and then at the bottom of the Jell-O cups, what does it say?
Need a will, call McGill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So old people, they all love Matlock, right? That's like
that's the
universal
joke. Yeah,
thing.
Absolutely.
That's funny.
Did any of your grandparents watch Matlock?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't think my grandma watched TV. I don't think my grandma enjoyed anything ever. So
my grandparents don't speak English, so
they didn't watch Matlock in Spanish.
Sure.
El Matlock.
Matloco. Matloco. Here's a bumblebee.
Muy bien. Yeah, it's The Simpsons,
which is based off an actual show, like a
really?
Spanish. Yes, it was a guy in some bug outfit. He had like a hammer, and it was some comedy, I guess.
Oh my God! Well, I remember we would go over to another friend's grandparents' house. And they were Cubanos. And Sábado Gigante was always on. Every time I was there, Sábado Gigante was on TV. But there was only like 2 Spanish channels at the time. That was hilarious. And then we got some of the most interesting stuff to me in last week's episode was the Mike part.
More Mike. Oh,
well, I think this episode 6
come on, Walter.
is gonna happen. You know, we're gonna get a lot more
definitely.
Mike history.
Gus wants to talk to you, Walter.
Hey, Walter.
You stay right there, Pinkman.
I'm an old man now.
I'm gonna tell you a story.
A story.
Do I have to state the obvious? I was never here.
I'm gonna stare blankly.
Jonathan Banks, that guy is I was listening to an interview with him on the radio.
I saw him on Conan.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And then today he was on Fresh Air, Terry Gross on NPR, him and Peter Gould. And that was a really interesting interview, so I recommend that to anybody on the podcast or something. You can check it out.
What's the podcast called?
It's just Fresh Air.
Fresh Air?
Yeah. It was really good, but they played some of the scenes, and they played a scene where Mike is talking to Walt, and he's telling him about when he was a cop in Philadelphia and how there was this domestic
from
abuse.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah, from Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And he was talking about a domestic abuse case when the guy, they'd go, and every time, and it was always something like, oh, she fell, down a broken nose in the shower, whatever, in the shower or something. And then he takes, and then one night his partner's not there, and he goes by himself, and he makes a right instead of a left. And he takes the guy, and he puts a gun in his mouth, and he's telling him, if you ever do this again, you're done for and everything. And then 2 weeks later, he killed her, all this, this story, whatever. But the point is that I'm listening on the radio to this monologue, and I'm getting chills. Yeah. And because I haven't seen that episode since it aired, probably, or since I first saw it on Netflix or whatever. Yeah. And it was so chilling and compelling and so fucking good. I was like getting goosebumps in the car listening to it on the radio. That guy is it's amazing. That fucking show, and him in that role is amazing. So
what else was he in?
So he was in this show Wise Guys. In the 80s.
Okay.
And he was like the boss. I think he was the boss of like this. They said in the interview of like the agency. I never saw the show, but he always played like a kind of like a cop figure. So that's what he kind of was in that show. And he says in the interview, he's basically like, well, he's not a pretty guy. He's not beautiful.
What is he talking about?
He either plays villain, so it's either you got to be good at playing villains, or that's why he played a lot of cops. So
cops are always ugly.
Yeah.
It's a rule.
Yeah. But it's true. He plays like you instantly looking at him, you instantly believe that this guy, he's street smart, he's tough. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he, like, you can tell that he's been around the block, so to speak. He knows what he's doing. Anything he says, when he has conviction in his voice, you instantly believe it. You can feel, like, I sense that just from looking at him.
Yeah.
So he but anyway, in this most recent episode that he was in, you find out a little bit more. He's basically at the parking booth again in the 5th one. Yeah, he's at the parking booth. Then it's the same old stuff with
Saul
Saul.
pulls out a business card.
Yeah.
Same thing. Need a will, call McGill. And what happens?
What an insult, right?
Oh, that was
Hey, if
hilarious.
you know anybody who's old, or
Yeah. That was
any
so funny.
elders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, practicing elder law. So if you know any elders,
Not you, but other people.
yeah, and then you just see like he's reading a book. Then the morning comes, and he goes to the diner, has his breakfast, and
That's
then
the same diner he goes to in Breaking Bad, right?
Is it?
I think it is.
Probably.
Probably goes to the same fucking place over there.
I'm sure. Yeah, he's like one of those guys.
Yeah.
And it's like my dad is like the same way. It's like this. He goes to the same place all the time, and they know who he is. Like all the staff know him. I don't
get a
like
discount?
that. No. And I hate that. I think the people, like, if I go to a place all the time and like, oh, they recognize me, I'm like, oh god, I gotta go somewhere else.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's something wrong with me.
Aren't you running out of places to go?
You should get a discount.
No,
if
I
you go there
spice it
every
up
day.
then. You know what I mean? Like then, like I'll go to another place all the time, and then when they start to
about liquor
realize
stores.
I come, yeah.
I switch up my liquor stores.
Gin and Guinness. Oh yeah, sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dexter's back.
Yeah.
Weren't you just here this morning? What do you mean?
Yeah. So what?
You were here.
Yeah. So are you, man?
So what's this Mike's shift?
The night shift. I
See,
guess.
but no, I was confused because then he's
yeah,
not
he's
there in
there
the morning.
morning.
When Saul shows up, he's usually there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, they could change shifts. Maybe
Well, he does
changed.
change shifts. Like when he walks away, the other guy's coming.
Yeah.
So
No,
he-
but I'm saying like maybe. But I'm saying maybe
Is this-
like 1 week or like 1 month he does like a
Well,
graveyard,
no, maybe
and the
he
other
does
week.
the night to the morning, but no, he leaves at night to
No, that's what I'm
makes
saying,
sense.
like,
Yeah.
this
No,
is
but
like a-
shifts.
Right.
But I'm saying in general the shifts can change. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
but I
like,
think he's purposely doing this shift because now at the end, the way this episode ends, he's up to something.
yeah, because what happens is he goes and rolls up in the same car. I think that's the same car from Breaking Bad that he drives. But he's sitting in front of this woman's house, presumably his daughter.
The mother of the daughter.
No, I think daughter.
No, I think it's his
I mean,
daughter,
granddaughter.
the mother of his granddaughter.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe not necessarily his daughter, but the mother of the granddaughter.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah,
I
that
don't know if
looks-
in Breaking Bad they clarify if it was his son's daughter or his daughter's daughter. But anyway,
Guess we'll have to find
there's
out.
obviously some kind of restraining order there because she pulls up. She pulls out of the driveway, goes, and he's just staring at her. And she rolls down the window, and he said, "What is he? What's her?" He says, "Like hello."
say anything.
They don't say anything.
They don't say
Oh,
anything.
okay. And then she just drives away. She's very displeased. He has a very somber look on his face, and then these cops show up at his doorstep, and
As he's drinking a
Long way
beer,
from
watching
Philly,
TV.
right?
yeah, long way from home. So are you, or something like
You
that.
and me both.
Well, yeah, you and me, but yeah. And then it ends. So I gotta assume that this week's episode, the episode 6, will be something going on with Mike, and maybe Saul and Mike's relationship forming a little more. I don't know. Maybe he helps him with something, but we'll see. Also, the actress that plays his daughter, or this woman that he was outside, she was in the show
Pervin.
Rome on HBO.
Oh, she was Caesar?
No, she was Octavian's brother.
Okay.
Caesar.
Caesar's. Well, he was a Caesar. He was Caesar eventually, and she was.
Caesar.
She wasn't his brother. He was her brother.
She was Caesar.
Yeah, she was Caesar.
Caesar
Little
Milan.
known fact.
Training those dogs.
There was a female Caesar.
great episode.
Well, I have something to say.
Oh yeah, wait. Boss had a theory.
You might have said it though. You might have already talked about this, but we'll see.
Say it again.
Is Chuck's episodes triggered by when Saul does something like unethical?
Oh, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they basically did.
It basically
bring
makes
that
it,
up.
It makes it worse.
Yeah.
I have a
Because-
feeling Saul caused a lot of anxiety in his life.
Right.
And they showed that in that one scene at the beginning of a previous episode,
The flashback.
when Chuck is Chuck is like bailing him out of a jam because he like had sex with a minor or something like that.
And the first one where he had the blanket was when he saw the hospital receipt with the broken legs. He thought it was him.
That's
Right,
right.
he puts
Oh
on,
yeah. So they draw a clear correlation in
Saul's,
episode 5 here.
Saul's activity is like a trigger for him. Which
That might have
Yeah.
been why. Yeah, and that's probably
he-
why he
He knew
goes.
something was up, and he saw the newspaper, obviously. So.
Yeah, and that's why he hid the newspaper because he thought I don't want to cause another episode.
He knew that.
And that's part of what drives him to constantly be going to Chuck's house and
Saul's guilty.
feeding into this, mania that he has.
No, I think he had horrible anxiety, and then
But-
it manifested
but here's the
himself
thing.
into this thing. Rather than having to admit to himself, "Oh, my brother is giving me this anxiety," he says, "No, it's the electricity," and that's it.
But something
there's
must
something.
have something huge must
Some
have
major
triggered it
event.
when he left the law firm.
Like
with
Saul,
his
him and
condition.
Jimmy and Chuck
8 months
had
ago or
some.
whatever.
There's some major event
Right.
for Chuck occurred that Jimmy
triggered
was
it.
involved in
Yeah.
that really triggered this, that forced him to then leave.
Might be Saul's ex-wife slept with his stepdad.
Oh, maybe. Well, did they even have a stepdad? I don't know. Well, I wonder if they'll even bring that up.
Keep listening because after this little musical interlude, we're going to talk about the next episode.
Oh,
Next episode is called 5-0. They're going back to the O. This is the only episode that doesn't end with O.
That's weird.
what was it called?
Alpine Shepherd Boy.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, but maybe that's related to the fact of, like, how the mental illness that Chuck has, it's like an OCD, kind of thing. Maybe so. Like this is like the break. So he has this episode, and that's
so
why
every
it's like
time he's sick,
no O,
maybe.
and it. I don't know. I'm just trying to draw like.
Wait, what?
That's stupid.
He's saying every time he has a big episode, it's not called not
It's
related.
like he
to
had
the
this big
title theme.
episode, so now it's like, like a diversion from the norm for Chuck.
But then,
So
with that logic, couldn't you just call
Yeah.
it like Banana Awesome Donkey?
Sure.
fuck fart.
No, Alpine Shepherd Boy means something. Let me look it up. Well, we do have a comment.
Ah,
I do mean we do have a comment.
one comment. That's it.
Viper 2785.
Loves this.
I have to agree with Oxnard. Brilliant writing, especially with the beginning and the billboard scene. Well, I think not just me. I'm pretty sure we all said that, right?
No, I disagree with that.
You just went on before for like brilliant.
I basically
it's
just had a tangent about how great it is.
It has the same surprise twists that made Breaking Bad so good. Can't wait to see how all the barely noticed details tie together later, and how the show develops regarding the hint to episode 9.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Cagle, what to say? Sigh. I liked your description of them and commenting on how they somehow found each other. I feel sorry for the Cagle children.
Dramatic pause.
Yeah.
But did that make sense? So they have the two most insufferable dumb fucking people in the world for parents. I
Yeah,
wonder if
really.
they will come up much more in the show. But if so, I hope it has to do with natural selection. Sorry for the long comments. Please don't hurt yourself reading, Dexter. I think he's getting us confused. I'm Oxnard.
Yeah, we know you're Oxnard.
Oh, okay.
No, he agreed with you, but I'm the one who reads the comments in his Viper voice.
Wait, what did he say?
And
Oh.
last time I was reading it, I had said because I had started reading it normally, but then I did it with the voice because it was hurting my throat.
Oh, okay.
I
thought,
was reading like this.
That's right.
As
Okay.
a snake,
So you
obviously.
should have read this. No,
Yeah,
I thought
you
he meant
asshole, you stole my thunder.
the way I
Stealing my thunder.
the way I mumble and stumble through readings. I thought it meant like I was hurting my tongue. Nice. Hey, this is Oxnard.
Hey, Dexter.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to.
Wow.
We just finished watching 5-0, which
That was a powerful episode.
Yeah, for the first real Mike-centric episode.
And definitely the darkest episode,
Yeah, and,
or the heaviest one of the season so far, the series.
and
Man,
it was
righteous.
great.
That was amazing.
was
That was
great.
so good. The final scene where Mike is talking to his daughter-in-law there, that was so emotional. That was so powerful. You know, because you've never seen that character that emotional
Right.
and you've always gotten these little glimpses as to what he might have been, what maybe happened to this guy, even in Breaking Bad.
And now we finally have.
And now you
the
finally
answer.
know, basically, why he's out there and what happened. And wow, that was unbelievable. It's funny because in the flashback, you were just saying, Oxnard, that you were nervous because he walks up to the two cops in the bar.
Oh, yeah. He's when he's leaving the bar drunk, and he's told the cops in the bar. He puts his arms around them, and he says, like, "I know what you did," and then
I know it was you.
he like just stays there all night until basically last call or something. Or I guess he knows the bartender, and the bartender just let him stay there because because he wouldn't be the last one leaving unless it was like.
I mean, the place was like cleaned up already.
Yeah, unless he knew, and he knew they were waiting for him outside.
Yeah.
And he's stumbling around, and I was just so intently watching that I was like, "Oh God, what's gonna happen? Is he really that drunk? Are they gonna kill him?" And I'm like, halfway through, I was like, "Oh wait, this is a flashback. He's gonna be fine."
But that's when does that happen? Where you forget that you're watching a flashback?
I forgot completely.
That's how good it is.
The episode just starts. Oh, nice. They're replaying it. It just starts. He arrives in Albuquerque, and
He goes in the woman's room. He's like, "Hello, janitor. Hello."
He gets a maxi pad.
Got it right.
He goes before I'm cracking jokes. Clean a bullet when you need a tampon.
And now I know what to do. If I have a bullet, I'll get a tampon.
And I kept getting corrected.
You're an idiot.
There's a lot of little tips and tricks that you can learn from this show. How to
go to the pound to get stitched up.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
How to unlock a car.
They
with
charge
a
a lot
piece
of money,
string.
though.
Yeah, we're gonna go do
$25
that
a
tomorrow,
pill.
right? Unlock cars with string.
Yeah, cop cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to practice.
That's the only way it works.
You're not gonna
It
practice-
only works on cop cars.
You're not going to practice on your own car first.
drive down to Philly, right? They got the old cop cars there.
What's another little trick? Oh, pickpocketing.
Oh man, that was crazy. I didn't know that. That's my when he was talking. So he calls Saul in.
That's Saul's only appearance in the whole episode. He's just
Yeah, that and then in the car after their little interview and the thing. But basically Mike's in the police station with the Philadelphia cops.
Lawyer.
Saul show you lawyer. Oh, come on, we just got a few questions. You're not being arrested. Lawyer.
lawyer.
Saul shows up. He's got a cup of coffee for Mike, and he's like, "No, that's for you." And then he's like, "Well, what is it? What's going on?" He's like, he's gonna write in his little notepad, and then when we're done, you're gonna spill the coffee onto the notepad.
And I like how he didn't completely explain it because there's that tension when the notepad's on the table, and you see Saul's just looking at it, and then there's this moment where it's, oh, did he mean spill it on the notepad to ruin it, or?
Yeah.
And then
like Saul said he wasn't going to do it, but then he ends up doing it. And I thought that the whole point was to ruin the notes that were taken.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
what I
ink
thought
would
too.
run. But instead what happens is Saul ends up doing it. Mike jumps up and he's like, oh. And then he starts patting him down.
What are you supposed to be doing?
He's like patting him down, like he's got like a handkerchief out. But then you see, he swipes the notepad. He basically pickpockets the guy. That was a smooth move. Mm-hmm. And then you can see, because it's pretty clear, there's these two guys. Something happened to his son. His son was killed. His son was a cop.
Son Maddie.
Yeah.
You learn more after he sees his daughter in the train station. There's a scene in the backyard.
Yeah.
And they're talking. She's trying to get information from him, but he's not talking. And so she's the one who calls the police because she's thinking, oh, okay, maybe these two other cops who were killed can lead us to the murder of Maddie.
Whoever killed these two cops that Maddie knew and worked with, and so it might have been the same killer. So he had been a drunk.
Yeah. You're assuming that the wife thinks he killed Maddie. And that's what we're thinking too. So
because she's like, I think he had the night before he was killed, he had this crazy conversation in the middle of the night. He's never agitated like that, and he was extremely upset. And I think she says, I think he was talking to you. And he's like, nah, I don't recall. Yeah,
he storms into the house, and you think he's going to start saying like, "Why'd you call the cops? Blah blah blah. What did you tell them? What did you tell them?"
Yeah.
And as the audience too, you're thinking like, "Oh, she thinks it's him."
I thought he got his kid killed. Which essentially he did.
He did,
but not as directly as I thought he.
Yeah, like
he wasn't involved as directly.
Yeah, like his kid was like a bad person and he had to put him down like a dog. But no, it was the exact opposite.
Or I thought that the kid. My theory was his kid, like came in on a job. There was a call. The cops showed up and he was doing something bad, and like he ended up shooting the kid, like not meaning to. like, you know what I mean, or something went down where shots were fired, and then Mike pulled the trigger, and he ended up killing his own kid. I thought it was going to be something like that, like he was involved in some deal, and the cop showed up, and it was his kid, and he gets killed. But it wasn't like that.
Pretending to be drunk.
That's crazy dedication to do that.
He knows the cops are out there waiting for him.
Because he did that for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, to the point where she thought, like, for ages he was like that then, after the death.
Oh, no, I think he...
Oh, no, it hadn't been that long, though. It hadn't been, like, months, but it had been a while.
I think he just knows how to hold his liquor. That's what it is.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he was obviously drinking, but I think he made it... He wasn't drunk. He was fully aware and capable. Yeah, he was playing it up.
Yeah, because that is so out of character for Mike that it's like...
But you wouldn't
blame him. It was
blame
just weird
him.
to see, yeah.
But you can't blame him when the son is dead like that.
No,
you know
even...
what I mean?
If he
even
went
for
through
him.
the most horrible thing, I think this guy's always just going to be, like, always at the
Yeah.
ready and just, like... Tough guy. He's never going to be in a predicament to be that sloppy drunk
you're
to
right.
be taken
That's
advantage of.
That's why that last scene is so much more powerful, because he's the guy that has, like, you never penetrate that outer layer, that, you know, that
Can't
armor
penetrate
that he
this
has,
guy.
and then he's like totally broken down, fully exposed in the end when he's telling his daughter-in-law that, you know, he was the one, he made his son
that's what I was gonna
sink
say.
down to the level. He convinced him, he showed him, like, I was my son's hero. I showed him that I was a dirty cop, and I told him he should be a dirty cop.
Yeah.
And then it got him killed.
Just
and
because to survive...
Yeah, you got to do, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
But it didn't work. And then so now
His
I
son
did
was a
that.
paladin.
I humiliated him. Yeah.
He was a goody two-shoes.
So he humiliated his son,
Boss just
and
shook his
then
head.
he was yeah,
Son is a paladin. Looks at me, idiot.
talking about some serious business here. Paladins come up.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I fucking love.
But so Mike had to humiliate his son and do, like, the worst thing he could basically do to him, and then he got so that he could survive, but it killed him anyway. And then he has to live with that. And then he goes, and then we see, obviously, in the flashback, like, he takes the two guys out, and that was insane. He breaks into the car
douchebags.
so he could put a piece there, and then he planted the piece on himself. That's what they call it in
What did
Philly.
you think?
Piece.
What did you think he was doing? Because I was almost thinking...
I knew he planted something in there.
You sound so uncool when you say peace.
Hey,
like
man.
you can't say it.
Yo, what do you
doesn't
hold?
work,
You got a
doesn't work.
piece?
Like
You
on
got a
me-
piece?
When he says it, I just think about... He's talking about cake.
Like
Yeah.
like Reese's pieces.
A chocolate, a piece of chocolate.
A slice of
He's
pizza.
drunk. He knew he was going to end up there, and he's going to be hungry.
It's a soft
For a
piece.
piece.
You don't
He's got
sound
a
hard
piece
and-
of sausage in there later. He's like, I'm going to be drunk. I'm going to want a snack.
I'm going to be hungry
I'm going to
later.
be in the car. This way I have the snack,
To put in my mouth
and I'll chew it.
while chugging whiskey.
But they put the gun in the car. I knew he did something. I thought he planted an explosive in
Yeah,
the
so
car.
did I.
Explosive, where he cut the brakes and he knew how to be in the backseat of the cruiser.
Maybe.
Like
He flops out of the window.
like he just unlocked the back seat. I don't know how it worked, but
The seat ejects up into the air somehow.
he sells a James Bond ejector seat. See ya,
See
cockface!
you later, suckers. Yeah. Nice knowing you, bitch twats. He blasts off straight to the moon. You see a parachute open up, floats down to safety.
And the gun he had
He
on-
lands in Albuquerque.
Gun he had
Perfect
on
crime.
wasn't loaded. That was good.
Yeah,
What?
he tricked that guy. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they find the gun on him. And they think, oh, okay. Then when they realize, like, we got to take care of this, we have a problem. Because he explains when he's faking being drunk in the car that, I know it was you. You lured my son into the crack house. You know, and for what? And, you know, and you killed him and made it look like that. Yeah, for nothing.
And then
And then
So
they're
I guess
like, all right,
they found a
his
ton of
son's
money,
dead,
right?
Yeah, drug dealer.
Yep.
and
yeah.
so they split it all amongst the cops. Is basically what happened.
Yeah, he had to take a taste, as he said.
Right.
You know, because if somebody doesn't, then they got a problem because they can't trust that person. And so even though he took it, he hesitated, and so they couldn't trust him, so they killed him anyway.
Did I say this in the beginning? But I was happy they didn't like have the character like bawling.
You said that before we started recording.
Because I was like, oh man, don't show like tears coming down or anything. Just like they
you
just
could see wetness.
Yeah,
in
the
his
slightest
eyes,
wetness.
but he's not like an that's what I'm saying. That's what was like even more powerful because that is him like completely stripped down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's totally exposed. And then he hardens right back up, though, because she's like, oh, she starts putting the pieces together. So those two guys, then those two cops that killed him, they turned up dead. And then he's like, you know what happened. He's like, and then he's like, but can you live with it?
So
he's like, hey, you know I killed them. So what are you going to do?
Is that what's going to be the catalyst for whatever restraining order is going on? Or
I don't know that there is a restraining order now, though. I don't think that there is because what happened...
Yeah,
that was what happened at the end of
thought,
episode 5. We're past that already.
Right.
This all happens after that then.
Okay.
So there's definitely no restraining order, because, and obviously in Breaking Bad, he's with the granddaughter. But I had a question, what is the age of the granddaughter? Because she seemed to me, and
6,
obviously
7?
I'm going only on memory... She's the same age to me in this show as she is in Breaking Bad, which takes place 6 years later. Because she would be, let's say she's 5 now, right?
Yeah, so 10.
So then she's 11 or 12
4.
or maybe even 10, let's say. Because she's not so young in this.
Well, she's
You know,
always
she's
in
not
the
a baby.
background,
Yeah. But she's young enough where she's at a playground.
That's the problem when you put kids and things.
Maybe
and
she's
you play
like,
with dates.
but maybe I don't know. What is the age of this kid? Am I missing something here? Did they screw something up?
She's out of focus. You can't tell. She could be 2 or 20.
No, she's not 2 though.
So I'm assuming
20.
I guess this girl and his son were broke up or something.
No,
Well, why is she in New Mexico and he's in
She
Philly?
moved out there
Why?
to get away from
get away from Philly. I don't know.
Since
It's a
he
fresh
died?
start.
Or I
Yeah,
thought-
since
I
he
thought
died.
Before that.
No.
Because he was a Philly cop. That was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but I assumed she was there longer.
No, she got the phone call with Mike, and they're arguing down there. She heard it, and then 2 days later he gets killed.
2 days later, he's killed. Yeah.
So
he
then,
takes maybe 2.5 to 3 days from the phone call.
yeah,
he's
so,
killed.
Yeah, obviously they were still together,
And
and
then-
then I guess it was so traumatic she just moved away from the area.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
It's a quick move. I don't buy it.
Well, he moved out there himself then.
He's got a bag.
You understand? If you have bag, you will
She has
travel
a house.
at the speed of light.
She has a house and a car and,
And a kid. He has a bag.
Now, he looked at the ID of this taxi driver. There's something on there that clued him in that this guy would know something about taking him to the
he's
place.
Mexican. That's why.
Rodriguez,
Mike's a racist.
I don't. Did it? Well, yeah. I couldn't notice. I just saw like his name was like Francisco Fernandez or something.
Francisco
Francisco
Outlaw Fernandez.
Francisco, yeah.
No, but I almost wonder.
Down and dirty Fernandez.
I almost wonder if there's something like a little thing you put on your ID, so any ne'er do wells who get in will
like
know
on the
to hey, this.
underground.
Yeah.
Wouldn't any
rule.
cop realize what that is?
How many cops are in the back of a cab?
I don't know.
Well,
Is that like a
Undercover.
joke? Is that
He's-
a joke? How many
he
cops
must-
can you fit in the back of a cab?
he must.
How many
have-
cops does it take to bust Francisco Fernandez?
I'm telling you, there was something on the ID that he noticed that he knew that if he paid this guy a little extra,
It's a little
he's going
dick
to take him to
sticker.
the vet.
This is a little tiny picture of a little dick.
It's like a neon.
It's like, and
smiling
he's
and
got
waving.
sunglasses on, and he's like, I know this guy is this guy's solid. He's gonna he'll take
it's a
me to the
hard
place
dick.
I need to be.
Hey there, vet.
Walter.
How well do you know it?
Yeah.
What's the last poodle you stitched up? Same exact case.
I'm an aspirin man.
What'd you think of the vet?
The vet was crazy.
I thought he was a slimy fucker.
I know, totally. He's like he does this every day.
But you know he's going to come back because I'm waiting for the... I was actually expecting at some point in this episode, because I wasn't sure what was going on with this woman and with Mike, so I was expecting for him to be like on really hard luck and he needs work, and so he goes back to the vet and says like, all right, I'm looking for work. Because he says,
How many
I'm
times
not
is he going to do this impersonation?
as often as I can. Is that
Just
okay
do it through the whole,
with
review.
you? It's fun to do.
So, Mike, how'd you think of this plan to get out of here with the coffee?
I saw it on an episode of America's Funniest Home Videos. A father
saw it on Matlock.
and his son are in a courtroom.
I thought that was funny when Saul walks in. He says, "You look like Matlock."
Oh, yeah. And he's like, no, I look like Paul Newman dressed as Matlock. And then, he makes a reference to, what's the other show that the guy from Matlock, where he's the sheriff?
Here,
Starts with
a
Andy
B.
Griffith.
Barney Fife.
Yeah, he's like, wrong show. Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great. Obviously, the little role that he had in this episode, Saul was awesome. Bob Odenkirk was great, but I was so glad. I've been waiting for a Mike episode, basically, and I'm glad. And
I was almost thinking
it was
that
powerful.
It was going to be episode 9, so now 9. I'm really looking forward to.
Some other shit is going to go down.
It's probably going to be Mike and Saul working together on something.
Yeah, because now that they're like. There is an established relationship now. The
Right.
base has been laid out. Because even in the first episode that Mike is introduced, he says because Jesse wakes up and he finds that his girlfriend dead from an OD.
Yeah.
And that Walter let happen, and Mike walks in, like Jesse calls Walt calls Saul calls Mike, and then he says Saul Goodman sent me. So
and
there
also-
is some kind of now precedent that's set where, I mean, he essentially at some point starts working for Fring and Saul.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's just a guy.
He's the
for
private
hire.
detective. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting.
it's very interesting.
But Saul still thinks he's crazy in Breaking
Yeah,
Bad,
Saul-
even though he works for him.
Well, even Saul here. Is
Yeah,
still,
well, their relationship is still prickly, I guess.
Yeah, Saul for now thinks he did kill 2 cops. So we'll see if he ever does that speech to Saul. Maybe at the toll booth,
Yeah.
he starts tearing up.
No.
Cars are behind them, honking.
I debased my son.
What are you telling me here, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
I can't do
We were
Saul.
playing Connect 4. I beat him. I was red tiles. He
Are they
was
called
black.
tiles?
Checkers.
It's red checkers.
Whatever.
He went twice. I shot
He
him.
put me on a pedestal. He thought I was unbeatable. Until the Russian showed up. And that day in the park. I don't know. I imagine they're in Central Park, even though they're from Philadelphia.
They're in
he loses
Alaska.
to Connect 4 to an old Russian man, shatters his son's dreams.
I'm trying to think of anything we missed. Any little details? There was one detail I actually remember seeing online, but this has nothing to do with Better Call Saul. It was actually for The Walking Dead.
Oh.
I think last episode, the last episode, there was a sign behind Rick and it was said Morgan Street or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. There was Boss noticed it as well. There was a fly on that one cop's hand.
Yeah.
That was really,
Oh, yeah.
That was really weird.
And then there was a
How
line
did he
later
not
on
feel that?
where someone said fly.
Is that a reference to the Fly episode?
I don't know.
From Breaking Bad,
I don't think
where
it's
it's
a
like
fly
where it's
go in
like
a guy's hand for this show.
well, that fly was symbolic of like the peskiness of the fly, like Walt, because that was Walt's conscience.
No, it was also like
because he let that girl die,
such a fucking
and
No, and also
all
he's-
the stuff that person he's becoming.
there's a line in that episode
Bullshit.
where he goes like, "Oh, if only to be a fly on the wall," and like in certain situations.
Vince Gilligan is obsessed with flies. He probably has a fly farm. He raises them.
I raise this.
I raise house flies.
He has like a slight twang, southern.
Yeah, he's like Larry David with a country accent. Instead of, Oh, the other thing I liked about watching this live, because I usually watch it DVR'd, so I fast forward through all the commercials, or online or something. But I love the Jeff Goldblum commercial.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Hilarious.
How did it go? It's like bigger.
He's like bigger, faster, stronger, bigger.
He's
And he's got like some fake name,
Bigger.
and he's got like the turtleneck on. He's like some weird tech CEO.
Yeah,
Jeff
right.
Goldblum
That's
is
what he's supposed to
hilarious.
be,
Yeah,
And then there was a commercial.
like doing like today we had the fucking stupid Apple Watch bullshit. 18-hour battery life.
You're not gonna get your iWatch, man?
$400. What a pointless
What do you mean?
thing. Well, yeah, we should get them, and then I can send taps so you can feel me tapping on your wrist. Oh, yeah. So I can basically... That seems like the most annoying thing in the world.
Can I turn that off?
I hope so, because that's what I was thinking. Like, I would just be tapping to annoy you on purpose. Or what you can do is you can draw like a sketch, so in the thing, it's like somebody draws like... You see them drawing like a little flower on the screen, and then...
finger?
It's a touch screen.
But, like, your finger's half the size of the fucking watch.
We use the tip of your finger.
Oh, my God.
He's disgusted. And then you get to see that message, so then I can draw Oxnard a flower and send it to him. But obviously, my first thought was
gonna
like,
come up with, like,
I'm
a
going to get see
stylus for it
penises
that
showing up on my
It's like a
watch
pin,
constantly.
just a pin.
Right. Yeah. That's so retarded.
And then what you can do is you can set it so that you put two fingers on the end and it picks up your pulse.
Eventually,
and
they're
then you
just
can
getting-
send your heartbeat to somebody so you can let them know someone special
Yeah, but
that
this
you're
has a
thinking
heartbeat
about.
sensor
Screens are
on
just
it.
getting smaller.
Yeah, but I can't sense the vibration of your heartbeat on my wrist through our phones, can I, Oxnard? You don't really care about me.
I bet people get conditions from just focusing on such a tiny little screen all day.
Definitely.
Insanity being the
like,
main one.
You're not supposed to. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not normal.
One
Well, we
funny
already
thing-
have all kinds of eye
But
problems
not
and
little
back
like
problems
that.
because of the computer. Well, and then, it's just pointless. Basically, everything that they're highlighting, it's like,
yeah,
I
what
don't
about-
need it.
what
I
about-
have my phone.
What about hackers? Like, if you told me the heartbeat thing. Like, what if you see your wife's heartbeat?
Well, but that-
and you check it, and a hacker turns it off. You're like, oh, my wife's dead. Oh,
What is that hacker accomplishing?
I don't
Got
know.
him.
Panic.
Got him. But that is a problem, though, with, like,
And what if they
Fitbits and
tap you
things.
gracefully?
Tap, 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 tap. That is like a problem though with like medical or like biomedical data in the
Right,
cloud
they can hack
now.
your,
Yeah, that can be hacked.
pacemaker, yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't see the point of it right now. It's just like a colossal waste of money. Those fucking things.
One thing I thought was funny during the Mad Men commercial said, "This is the first pitch of Mad Men,"
Oh yeah.
and Boss thought it said, "This is the first bitch of Mad Men."
Which is also true. Which is also
It
true.
showed a woman.
And you see him scolding her.
You think
I
that was
like,
intentional?
wow, they said bitch in a commercial.
I love Mad Men. So
That sounded very intentional to me.
they talk down to women a lot.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, they treat women like shit.
Yes, back in
That's
the day.
why the show is great. Why do you think it's so popular?
All right. Any other thoughts, boss? What are your predictions?
I have no fucking clue what will happen. That's one prediction.
Yeah, I really don't know where. This was like my one thing. I was like kept waiting for the Mike episode. That was the only thing that I knew and was hoping was coming. And now I have no idea.
Here's
where
a
the show's
prediction.
going.
I think
great.
it's going to be
Here's
something with
prediction.
Nacho, and he's gonna try and get them hurt or killed or something like that.
Yeah.
Here's my prediction. Nothing happens for 4 years. Saul practices elder law safely. Mike lives his life peacefully. And then something happens.
Walter White walks in.
Next episode, the first thing you see is... the first
My
thing you
name
see
is Heisenberg.
4 years later.
He just publicly announces it.
They
I have a
completely
problem.
redo the whole scene. I am Heisenberg. My product is flawless. The end. And then it's just boom. Explosion sound.
That's it. I'm just so tired.
No, I
can't-
know. I don't
my
know. I don't
brain's
think
not
there's
even
anything more
working.
to say at this point that we
trying
can
to
think of
think.
now anyway. But it was another fantastic episode. The show
Yeah.
continues to amaze me.
Yeah, we did this once before. Remember, we had a 3-show review marathon. We did that a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was when the very first episode of Better Call Saul.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it came
yeah, 'cause
out.
of Walking
It was
Dead,
Walking
too.
Dead, and then Better Call Saul. The first episode was there, and then the very next episode was on the Monday.
That's right.
So we
yeah,
did everything.
yeah.
I think that Tuesday.
Yeah. It's tough that it's on a Monday.
I know. It would be great if it was Walking Dead, Better Call Saul.
Get rid of
the-
fucking Talking Dead
Yeah,
horse
we'll
shit.
be the Talking Dead. Just tune into YouTube, STS Enterprises.
Nobody
Right.
needs to listen to Chris Hardwick.
I don't think AMC would hire us since we make fun of their writers.
Oh no, they won't.
It's Talking Dead with STS. What the fuck is going on here?
This sucks.
Who else was super bored by this shitty episode?
If they kill Tyrese, I'm done watching. I'm Oxnard.
Put it in my butt. I can't wait. I can't wait for
love
somebody to
zombie
fuck a
dick.
zombie in the ear.
That's not weird, is it?
Well,
I guess that's
Till
it.
next time. Stay
When's Game of
tuned.
Thrones coming back?
April.
April.
Yeah, so it was final season of Mad Men or final episodes of Mad Men, new season of Game of Thrones, and then I think...
Do you know what date in April?
No, first week of April, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, 10 episodes. April.
10 or 13?
For Game of Thrones, it's 10.
They do 10?
April.
I'm not excited because
May.
I always...
June.
Usually the first
June.
season's...
July.
Might be cutting close. I might not be in the country during the finale of Game of Thrones. I'm just doing the math in my head. We'll see. We'll Skype it.
You'll be on a cruise ship Skyping.
Oh, pina colada in one hand.
What are you doing, Oxnard? Shut up! Men are talking!
That's the captain of the ship.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Oxnard?
Discount cruise.
It's just a little rubber dinghy.
Tugboat.
Just a guy.
He's alone. Talking
No, he's
to
gonna
himself.
be
This is a
lost
cruise.
in the
Severely
Bermuda Triangle.
dehydrated, blistered from the sunburn.
All right. Better Call Saul 5-0.
That's it.
And
We
hope
watched
you
it.
enjoyed this twofer. Hope it made you laugh.
Maybe even cried. Maybe changed your worldview.
Taught you how to pickpocket, how to shove a gun into the back of a cruiser, a piece, if you will.
A piece. That's what they call it. On the streets. On the streets.
All right.
All right, goodbye.
I'm Oxnard. STS Oxnard.
I'm Dexter. STS Dexter.
I'm Boss. Follow us on Facebook.
And Twitter.
Woo!
Follow at Pilkin1.
And I think we have a Skype that I set up an answering machine, but I haven't checked it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't think I might have.
So many messages.
Probably like Saul's answering
unpaid
machine,
bills.
yeah.
What? The IRS keeps calling. All right. Goodbye.
Probably owe us.